Today, I'm going to show you one way to increase the number of conversions coming through your website without increasing the volume of traffic. This works especially well if a large percentage of your traffic is in fact branded from a search engine. And trust me, this is a common issue that we typically come across with new prospects, clients, but it has a relatively simple fix. And for once, we're not actually getting obsessed with keywords or volumes or links or anything like that. There's a surprising number of large websites that aren't doing this. They're likely missing out on millions in revenue by not implementing this strategy. And it's, as I said, it's relatively simple. So I'm excited to take you guys through this. A quick bit of self-promo for Session Media. We're a B2B performance marketing agency and have helped hundreds of clients from all over the globe generate millions in pipeline from SEO, Google Ads, and LinkedIn. You can see a glimpse into what we've done to achieve that over the years in the case study section on our website. If you're a B2B business and keen to have similar successes, then send a message via the contact form on the site or drop me a DM. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm sure by now you know that I am by no means a Picasso of any sort. So I apologize for the very basic level of artistic work that's gone into devising this web page. But unfortunately, this is quite a typical style of a SaaS site that we would come across. I'd say that, you know, a lot of SaaS businesses, if they pull a website out the box, it probably takes the form of something like this. So you've got your platform page, you hover across your platform, it lists out your modules, your features, your integrations, for example. Then you might have a pricing tab, which of course will take you to the pricing section. And then the section to the right, you sort of almost given up on conversions a little bit the way that I see it. So we go into the blog where we have articles and resource downloads. We then have a bit about the company, the team, the story. Now, there's one thing that you might notice from a high level about this sort of website setup is it's all about me. It's talking about our team, our story, our modules, our features, our integrations, our articles, our resource downloads. And websites that operate like this, they don't necessarily do anything wrong, but they don't really speak to the user that has visited the site. They don't really think about the person behind the screen. There's actually reading this content for the first time and debating whether to potentially get in touch with this hypothetical SaaS product here, or to go to a competitor, hit back to the search engine and select the competitor below, right? And the real life example of what this looks like, I would say, is arguably myhrtoolkit.com. So we've got the features, we've got the pricing, we've got to become a partner, we've got the resources, and we've got the about section there. Now, to my astonishment, when I jumped into Ahrefs, I can see that there's, on average, 4,500 searches a month for my HR toolkit. So 4,500 branded searches a month. 4,500 people have heard about my HR toolkit in the marketing space somewhere and have gone, Googled the brand name and gone directly to the site. Now, if I was one of those 4,500 people, I'm being met with a very generic website message here. You know, I'm not being really spoken to specifically, and that's a bit of an issue. We know that within that 4,500, within those 4,500 searches, there's going to be a lot of various different types of users, and of course, those users haven't qualified themselves. They haven't said, I'm from a finance company, I have 500 members of staff, I'm looking for a solution around this sort of price point. I've just Googled my HR toolkit, and then hit myhrtoolkit.com and been met with a very generic message. So, the immediate issues here are that I don't know if myhrtoolkit.com is a good fit for me in my business. Now, of course, I could click free trial, but I also don't want to potentially waste my time, my team's time, and even, my HR Toolkit's time by sitting on a call, going through pricing, if really I don't know they can best serve me. And unfortunately, these guys have fallen into the trap of just providing a relatively generic website that says, one thing to everyone. And unfortunately, it doesn't quite cut the mustard these days. So, of course, you're now going to ask me, well, okay, what should this look like? Let's jump to the good example. So this is, I would say, a basic level good example. And there's a lot more that can be done with this, but if I get the pen out, but we can see straight away. So, okay, we've got the platform at the start here. We've got this solutions option here. And when I hover over solutions, I've got a list of industries that we service. On these industry pages, I also list out any necessary case studies on the industry pages. So, for example, I go on to finance. I've worked with the likes of HSBC, Nationwide, for example. I give a example or, a case study of us working with that provider. I'm also going to provide those industry logos on the relevant industry page. So straight away, I'm being spoken to specifically. I can talk about how my benefits as a HR user from the financial sector are being met. I've got a list of logos that could sort of say, look, we're trusted to be used by other companies in the financial sector. And straight away, I'm going to be more inclined to reach out to this good example than the bad example, because I've already gone through a period of qualification in my head that I know we could be a good market fit, right? And I think the key thing with this is, we can actually ignore search volumes with this. This isn't really an SEO practice. This is more like a marketing messaging and website sort of persona and positioning practice, I would say, to some extent. So, we hover across solutions, we list out the industry straight away. And of course, further down the page, we can also do this in blocks, but I'm only looking at the navigational architecture in this video. I can also list the types of users that may be using my platform and how it would integrate into the common day-to-day or a typical sort of job function of someone, say, in HR, in marketing, in operations, for example. So I can click on HR, I can talk about pain points of a user within HR, and then talk about how my software solves those pain points. Or if I'm in marketing, we can do the same for marketing. Right. And then one other thing that I didn't put here, but we could go to another level, is also adding in company size options. Workday, of course, they're an enterprise solution, but they do this really well where they talk to the industry, the user, and essentially the company size. So they're capturing all the various sort of firmographic parts of the user that could be landing on the site. So again, if I'm from finance and I've just Googled the brand name and I've hit the site, straight away I'm actually being spoken to specifically. I'm not being met with generic sort of catch-all messaging that I was in the bad example. And then at the top here as well, we also list out the case studies. So again, we almost have like a second industry drop down, but directly with case studies. We really want to make sure that we're telling the user who we're a good product marketing fit for. And I promise you, if you think that you can serve everyone, I can guarantee that you do not. And the way that you identify who you best serve is just going back through your customer base and identifying where your best revenue comes from. So where are your longest serving customers? Where are your most profitable customers? Where are the customers that you're getting the most inquiries from? And essentially the best reviews, the best sort of feedback. The Venn diagram of all those sections put together will give you the sweet spot of which industries you best service. And it might be that you go quite deep within these industries. So instead of just serving technology, you service financial technology, healthcare technology, education technology, for example. You can go so deep with this, and that should be led by where your best revenue is coming from. So by this point here, we've, of course, said what we do, but that's not the important bit. We've highlighted who we're a good product marketing fit for. We've listed the job functions that we can support and the types of pain points that we can resolve for those people in those job functions. And potentially, we even speak to a business that is a certain company size, because it might be we're an umbrella company We operate across a number of different industries. We need a software platform that integrates into all those different industries, and we're 1,000 plus. So I just want to have a look at your enterprise solutions, and we can do that. And then we can go into pricing, blog, about, and I've also put book a demo here, of course. Now, a really good example of where this is done is Cypher, which is also an HR software provider. So if I come up to the menu here, I've got the product tab. I've got a services tab. I come to the solutions tab. They've got a solutions by product. Importantly, they've got a solutions by sector. Then they've got the pricing and the resources up at the top here. So I'd say by no means this is perfect, but this is a far better example of how to speak directly to your audience than just creating a out-the-box website that tries to appeal to everyone. What we've seen through our clients is by rolling out pages that can speak more directly to the users that are landing on the site, we've seen notable increases in the conversion rate of those sites. And again, we're not looking at volumes. We're not really looking at anything, because you are going to have these users just typing in a brand in Google, landing on your page, and then expecting to have messaging that resonates with them. And they are not qualifying themselves in the keyword. They're not saying that I'm looking for, say in this instance, HR software for finance. I'm just putting in Cypher, for example, and I just want to find out if Cypher, in this case, would be a good fit for me as a financial firm looking for HR software. I mentioned it before, but another really good example of where this works well is Workday. Of course, they're a beast of a business, but they have a very clear product list, industries, customers, partners. Essentially, if I'm a marketing business or a finance business, I have a very simple way to navigate to a page to understand whether Workday would best resonate with the solution that I'm looking for. Another example of where I think this works really well is Infinity. So Infinity, they are a call tracking metrics provider. But straight away, what you'll notice is I hit solutions on the drop down. They speak to the user before they even talk about what they do. So if you're in a marketing team, a sales team, whether you're in automotive, banks, healthcare, insurance, for example, they are trying to direct you to the page and the messaging that best resonates with you. So they haven't even spoken about what they can offer, their solutions, how great they are. They're just trying to speak to you in your sector straight away, which again, I think is fantastic. If I come across here as well, they talk about customer success instead of case study, which I think is far more impactful. And I really like the way that they just approach their navigation off of the back of me just landing as a new user to the site. As I said, I'm not going to go and critique the messaging of the page and the flow or anything like that. I'm just looking at navigation in this point. And that about wraps it up. I think the beauty with this is if you've got a really good handle on your customer base, you know where your best customers are, you know where your best revenue is coming from, then these pages should essentially create themselves. The second part to this is you can even engage your customers in getting testimonials or even just quotes for the site where they might talk about how they've used your solution and how it's helped. It also might give you a good opportunity to ask, which pain points does it resolve? And before you know it, you're already thinking about how to structure the messaging and the content strategy of those specific industry pages, for example. So that about wraps it up. If you've liked the video, you want to see more videos like this, then please do subscribe to the channel. If you can drop us a comment as well, that'd be fantastic. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.